What is up, guys? How's it going today on this beautiful, beautiful day that it is, wherever you are? I've gotten a lot of interest in what I take with me to the beach when I'm gonna go shoot. So I decided I would do a quick rundown of what's in my camera bag on any given day and what I shoot with, and then also maybe talk about a little bit of the post process too. I basically have two styles of shooting that I do. I guess three, you could say. The first one is in water. I'm a dangerous man. So that's physically swimming out and taking photos or video from, in the pocket, right in the zone of the wave, depending on where I'm shooting. And I use various lenses for that, which I'll go through. And then another style that I do is shoot from the beach with a tripod, either stills or video. When they hear my voice, I knew there would come a day. They say that I'm a wanted man. So obviously the YouTube videos, I'd say 98% of that footage is coming from the beach. Probably pretty easy to determine that for most people that watch the channel. However, every now and then I'll get some video footage in the water. I'll talk about the limitations of getting video footage in the water that I have run into so far with my current setup, and then the direction that I would like to go. So stay tuned, hang out, let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. It's just growing. I literally just started it like a month ago, and I only have a few videos up, so I appreciate the support so far. Thank you for all the likes and comments and dislikes. Thank you for all the subscriptions. I really appreciate that. It's really fun to watch grow. This is definitely a passion of mine. It's something that I'd like to do for a really long time. It's something that I'd like to make money doing. Right now I'm not making any money, and that's totally fine because I do it for the love of it. But it would be nice to move into to making some money doing it someday. So that is the one of my long-term goals, but not the ultimate goal. So anyway, hang out, see what you think, check out what I use on a daily basis. All right, so I'm gonna start with just my camera bag in general. So this is a Dakine Quest bag. I studied photography in college way back, feels like way back. About to have my 10-year graduation from high school reunion. This is my 10th year, so I graduated in 2011. So this bag is probably from like 2012, which is crazy that it's withstood the test of time. It's held up for me nice. It is the Quest bag by Dakine. So yeah, I'll just go top to bottom here. So I keep pretty much everything in here. It fits my housing, it fits my camera bodies and the lenses for the most part. So in this top pouch here, I keep my SPL water housing, which is kind of hard to get out, but this is just their splash housing. It's made of like a plastic, probably like a PVC material. It works really well for me though, for what I use it for. Of course, I wish I had the resources for their their A series, which are all like aluminum composite material, and they usually have like a better interface, so I could like change settings on my camera in water. I can't do that currently. This housing is actually made for the Canon 5D, which I do. I do have a 5D Mark II body. I'll get into that here in a minute. But the camera that I run in it currently, or camera that I'm running in it currently, is the 7D Mark II. Here's the back plate for this housing, or one of them. I have two. This one I actually don't use too much because it's set up for the 5D, and like I said, I primarily shoot 7D Mark II in the water. Reason being is the 5D Mark II takes awesome video, but it has only a 4 frame per second shutter rate when you're shooting stills, when you're shooting photos, and that just limits my ability to potentially get or miss a shot. So the 7D Mark II shoots 10 frames a second, which I find that if I'm shooting 10 frames a second, I might get 4 or 5 actual usable photos. I really only need 1. With the 5D, it's, you might get 1 photo out of, the 4 per second. So moving right along here, I'll go to the main compartment. This bag's actually pretty roomy. So keep GoPro little case here. This is just kind of like my catch-all. So I've got, you know, some GoPro accessories. I have the T-nuts for the housing itself, little cloth for the lenses, and then some other miscellaneous crap. Quarter is always nice to have around, especially if you're running a big lens on a tripod, because those things, the base plates tend to get loose. So there's that. This is the back plate actually that I'm using for the housing, which as you can see is literally just a piece of glass. So try to be really careful with this thing because breaking it would be a nightmare. And you know, I don't want that to happen, so as I throw it onto my bed. All right, now moving right into it here. So I've got like an assortment of lenses in here. I've got 3 lenses. First one, this is a 40mm. Obviously it's not covered at all. I don't have a cap or a back cap for it, so try to be careful with that. But every now and then I'll throw this on. I do the pipeline a lot. I'll throw the 40mm on just because there's a lineup there. You know, I don't want to overstep my my welcome, and you know, I haven't been shooting there long enough to establish myself in a way that allows me to sit in the zone or closer to the zone. And also, with that being said, it's actually quite scary to sit in the zone. So I try I try to sit in the channel. But it's nice to have that lens to reach out a little bit. I will also run this lens in the channel, which is a 28-70 ultrasonic Canon lens from like way back in the day. My dad actually used to use this to shoot me playing sports with an old 10D that we had, and I actually still have, although I don't use this camera as a relic. But yeah, this is the OG DSLR by Canon. It's pretty sweet. Thought about selling it just because there's actually a market for these things, although it's very niche because it's just like retro, you know. It doesn't quite work as well as even like a 5D Mark I, you know, so it's kind of crazy that thing is still sought after. Got a housing for the GoPro. I don't know if I showed you, but got a little GoPro mount on top of my rig here, and I'll run the GoPro occasionally. That's kind of how I've been getting my in-water video shots, which I'll get into in a moment. This is a Sigma lens. Oh, sorry, not Sigma. What is this? What? However you say that word. Contre, whatever. So yeah, this is a 70 to 300 mil lens. Obviously not in the best shape in the world. It's a little dirty at the moment. Don't use this too much because I don't really have a place for it. Because when I shoot on the beach, I'm shooting this 400 millimeter 5.6 fixed lens here, which is an awesome lens. It's actually old. It's quite old, but you can get them pretty cheap used, which is exactly what I did because I don't have money for the $16,000 400 millimeter lens that Canon makes. It's a little bit newer, a little bit wider angle, has like image stabilization and stuff. This one doesn't have any of that, but it works. You know, I can make it work. I think I paid like maybe 500 bucks for it used. And the dude that used it before like took pictures of birds and stuff. Like, he didn't really beat it up, so it's in quite good shape, which is good for me. Got some other assortments of, got the bite mount for the GoPro on the occasion that I go surf and want that. Moving to the camera bodies here. So this is the 5D Mark II. I do a lot of video with this from the beach. I feel like it takes really good video, but I have the same issue in water that I do on the beach with this camera, is that it only shoots 4 frames a second. Might be 4.5, 4.7, but it's still significantly less than the 7D, although it is full frame. So if you're into full frame, maybe go with like the Mark III or the Mark IV or the S, because you're gonna get more frames per second. I don't know what the specifics are there, but I know it's more. And then here's the workhorse, the 7D Mark II. Love this camera. This thing shoots 10 frames a second, like I said. It's a crop sensor, which is cool because I can save money on glass. So this specific glass I've got on here is an EFS 10 to 18 millimeter. It's almost a fisheye, but not quite. So it gives me kind of like the super wide angle, you know, look, but it isn't necessarily as warped as a fisheye is or would be, which is cool because you know, it gives me options basically. You know, I can set it up so that it's more towards the 18 millimeter side of the house when I put it in my housing, and it just stays put because I can't adjust the focal length or anything. I can't adjust where it's at once it's in the housing. It kind of just is stuck, right? So that's kind of cool. You know, I think it's nice to have. And then, you know, running 10 millimeters, anything under 10 is technically considered fisheye. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. That's my understanding of it. I'm no, you know, camera genius, but my understanding is anything less than 10 millimeters is fisheye. So I can get like the super wide angle, get super close. Everything's so crispy clean, especially the closer you get to a subject. So it's fun shooting waves with that thing, empty waves. It's also fun shooting surfers in like a barrel, or just getting like really close to like, you know, bodyboarders or whatever at Sandy's. I shoot Sandy Beach a lot here on Oahu. Super fun to shoot Sandy's with that thing because I don't have to worry as much about my framing inside a barrel. There's so little time in there that like you just kind of have to pull the trigger and keep it focused on a certain point. So I'm actually looking through the viewfinder, and then I'll make sure everything's in focus kind of to where I think my focal point needs to be, or where, you know, it's all anticipatory because you don't know, right? So then as the wave comes over my head, I'm sitting, you know, ducking underneath it, just kind of fire that trigger off and get like a whole segment of like the waves coming in, the waves coming through, and then I'm out the back, you know, in the underwater. So pretty cool. So that's kind of what's in my camera bag. There might be some other miscellaneous things in some of the small pockets, but nothing I really dig into. In terms of tripods, I use a Neewer, however you say that. It's a videography tripod. I got it dirt cheap, like 50 bucks off Facebook Marketplace, but it's a really expensive tripod. The thing's so buttery smooth left to right and up down that it's almost too good sometimes. If it's super windy on the beach or something, I almost have to like watch how fast I'm panning because the wind will take my lens and it'll jerk it. Like, it's pretty remarkable. There's some shots I haven't been able to use, unfortunately, because my lens was getting pushed by the wind and it was like pulling it out of my hands almost, just on the tripod there on the swivel mount. So yeah, the head of that thing is really, really good, which is cool. It's definitely a blessing to have. I also have a little MePhoto tripod here for doing stuff like this. I'm just not using it obviously at the moment, just carrying it. What I'm filming this on actually is the GoPro Hero 8 Black with the media mic attachment. So it's, you know, it's actually does a pretty good job. Pretty impressed by this little camera. I love GoPros. They're cheap enough too. Like I bought a GoPro 9 when they first came out and like burned it. Just, you know, took on water somehow or whatever, and I sent it back to GoPro. They sent me a new one. It's amazing, you know. So can't really go wrong with that company. Moving on from there. So when I swim out at Pipeline or another big surf, I get a little freaked out. I've got this Buell suit here that obviously hasn't been used too much. Oops. This thing is an impact suit. It is impact rated. It also has some float to it, although it's not Coast Guard approved. It's kind of nice. See a lot of dudes running them right now out at Pipeline. A lot of surfers, a lot of bodyboarders. Jamie O'Brien is the big one. He actually helped design the suit with Buell himself out in Southern California. And I think it's a great suit. The thing does everything I need it to do for sure. And then obviously I've got the Gaff helmet that's kind of standard these days. I had to get the one with a visor because the one without the visor is back ordered for like the next 10 years, it sounds like. So not 10 years, it just feels like it is. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much my setup. I'm looking to upgrade camera bodies. I'm also looking to upgrade housing. So I'm thinking hopefully the 1DX Mark II, just because it's more affordable than the Mark III, is on the docket. That's definitely my dream camera for video and for photo. Thing is a beast. I'm sure you can look up the specs of that camera and you can look up the price tag. It's certainly not cheap. And then I would like to stay with SPL Water Housings. I love the company. They've been around for a long time. They make a good product. I would just like to upgrade to the A series and keep shooting with SPL for sure. Obviously, there's a ton of other, there's CMT, Clark Little's running that. There's Aquatech Image Solutions, Zach Noyle's running that. Tons of other people too. Those are the two big hitters though that you always hear about. You see their work and stuff, and they're also out here on Oahu, which is where I live. So it's pretty cool to be in the presence of those great photographers. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's the camera bag. That's what I run with on the beach. That's what I'm running in the water. If you have any questions, just shoot a comment down there in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer everybody. And yeah, let me know if you like this video and you want to see more of this. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for your time. You.
Show the mama warrior developed through it all. Made it out the rebel, I survive in any war. Know that there's a win outside of every single loss. Make it known.